The room explodes before the cameras even settle. Elizabeth and Yara are already on edge, voices sharp, accusations flying, and the tension almost tangible. It's not subtle. It's chaos served on a platter, and everyone in the house feels it. But behind the verbal fireworks, something bigger looms. Jasmine, teetering on the edge of deportation, and the shadow of her looming legal crisis hangs over the entire cast. Welcome to Reality Spots. I'm Jessica. And if you love watching the most shocking, high-stakes drama of 90 Day Fiancé unfold, hit subscribe now and drop a comment telling me what you would do if you were trapped in this storm. Seriously, be honest, because no one walks out of this untouched. From the first second, Elizabeth and Yara's confrontation sets the tone for the episode. Yara, furious and unfiltered, points fingers, bringing up grievances that have been simmering for weeks. Elizabeth fires back, equally unrestrained, each word sharpened by ego and pride. It's a battle of wills, with tension so high you can almost see it in the air. And just when you think one of them might back down, nope, the argument escalates. Meanwhile, the other cast members are scrambling to figure out their footing. Andre looks like he wants to step in, but also wants to avoid the storm hitting him directly. Lauren's eyes dart between the combatants, calculating who might ally with her next. Alex is quietly observing, weighing words, gestures, alliances, and grudges. Because in a room like this, strategy is survival. Every glance here is loaded, every side comment carries weight, and amid the chaos, you can feel the undercurrent. Jasmine's name hangs heavy in the air. Rumors, whispers, and anxious glances are enough to tell everyone she's about to drop a bomb. But no one knows exactly when or how explosive it will be. This isn't just a fight, it's a power play. Elizabeth and Yara are weapons in the larger narrative, each acting out layers of unresolved frustration. Every accusation forces the other cast members to pick sides, consciously or not. And as the camera pans across shocked faces, you realize no one is neutral here. Everyone is complicit in the drama, willingly or unwillingly. The room pulses with anticipation. Who will crack first? Who will speak up? And most importantly, what does this mean for Jasmine, whose off-camera reality is colliding with the on-screen chaos? The hints of her looming legal trouble are everywhere. The worried looks, the whispered warnings, and the subtle pauses that scream tension. If you think Elizabeth and Yara are the only ones under pressure, think again. The second you hear Jasmine's name, you'll understand why this episode isn't just drama. It's a ticking time bomb. By now, viewers are leaning in. You can feel the energy, the volatility, the simmering heat that makes the tell-all more than just a recap. It's a test of endurance for everyone involved. Each cast member is forced to reckon with old grudges, new betrayals, and the reality that the public is watching, judging, and waiting for someone to lose control. And somewhere in the corner of the room, Jasmine sits quietly, but the tension around her is deafening. Every step she's taken, every word she's spoken has led to this. The other cast members know it. The audience knows it. And very soon, the clock is going to tick down on a decision that could change everything. The first confrontation ends without resolution, but the damage is done. Elizabeth and Yara storm off, leaving the room buzzing, cast members exchanging nervous looks, and one question dominating every mind: will Jasmine survive the fallout from this storm? Or is her world about to implode under the weight of legal and personal pressure? Jasmine's looming deportation isn't just a footnote, it's a real, ticking deadline that could land her in immediate trouble. And by the end of this episode, the rest of the cast may never see her or the drama quite the same way again. Jasmine and Gino step into the room, and instantly, the air changes. It's like someone flipped a switch. Their history is no secret. The fights, the miscommunications, the highs and lows that kept viewers glued all season. But today, it feels like every unresolved grievance is surfacing at once. The cameras catch it all. The narrowed eyes, the clipped words, the subtle tension in every movement. Jasmine starts sharp, words loaded with accusation, every sentence dripping with frustration and hurt. Gino responds cautiously at first, trying to defend himself, But the escalation is inevitable. Each interruption, each rebuttal pushes the conflict higher. By the time the conversation hits its peak, the emotional weight is almost tangible, and you can feel how quickly trust has eroded over time. It's not just about what they say, it's the symbolism behind what they do. Jasmine's handling of Gino's wedding and engagement rings becomes a centerpiece of the confrontation. Those rings aren't jewelry, they're history, promises, and symbols of a relationship under siege. Watching them argue about objects, it's easy to see how a relationship built on love can collapse under accumulated slights, misunderstandings, and unspoken resentment. Gino's face shifts from confusion to heartbreak to frustration within seconds. You can almost read the internal dialogue. How did we get here? What went wrong? Can anything fix this? Meanwhile, Jasmine's intensity shows a combination of defiance and desperation. Her way of trying to reclaim control in a situation that's slipping away. The cameras capture every micro-expression. The trembling lip, the tightened jaw, the subtle flinch that tells a story words never could. Psychologically, this is a masterclass in conflict escalation. When past grievances pile up without resolution, and when one or both parties feel publicly scrutinized, arguments rarely stay rational. Projection, defensiveness, and ego-fueled retaliation become almost automatic. Jasmine and Gino's exchange is a textbook example of how private conflicts magnify under the pressure of cameras, social media, and audience expectation. The emotional toll isn't just on them, it's contagious. Other cast members glance over nervously, sensing the volatility, while viewers at home can't look away. There's a mix of shock, empathy, and curiosity that keeps everyone glued to the unfolding disaster. And for Jasmine, the added pressure of her looming legal troubles makes her responses sharper, more defensive, more unpredictable. Every word carries weight, every glance fuels speculation, and every action hints at deeper issues than anyone can publicly articulate. The question hanging over the room is brutal. Can trust ever return when public humiliation and private betrayals collide so explosively? By the end of their confrontation, there's no resolution. Gino walks away emotionally drained, Jasmine leaves flaring, and the audience is left in stunned silence. The fight isn't just a scene, it's a mirror of the season, reflecting how fragile relationships can become when personal conflict meets public spectacle. And the lingering question remains. With history this messy and wounds this deep, is reconciliation even possible, or are they already beyond repair? The room goes silent when Jasmine drops the bombshell about an alleged pregnancy with Matt. The words hang in the air, heavy and impossible to ignore. Everyone freezes for a moment, shock, disbelief, and curiosity painted across each face. This isn't a simple argument anymore. It's a seismic revelation that rattles every dynamic in the house. Gino's reaction is immediate and raw. His jaw tightens, eyes widening in a mix of heartbreak and confusion. It's impossible not to see the emotional sting, the way a public accusation can cut deeper than any private fight. Other cast members exchange glances, whisper, and flinch as the tension thickens. Elizabeth looks almost vindictive. Joy leans back, trying to process the chaos, and Andre's body language says, "What did I just walk into?" Even Lauren and Alex seem momentarily speechless, caught between curiosity and judgment. For Jasmine, this revelation is a high-stakes gamble. She's balancing her public persona as the fiery, unapologetic reality star against a private life suddenly thrust into the spotlight. Every word she says, every defensive glance, adds fuel to the fire. On screen, it's drama gold. But off-camera, the consequences are intense. Trust fractures, alliances shift, and even minor gestures feel loaded with significance. The ripple effects extend beyond the immediate argument. Questions start to circle. Did this change anything in Gino and Jasmine's relationship? How will the rest of the cast respond once social media gets wind of it? And what about Jasmine's public image, already precarious thanks to legal troubles and on-screen volatility? Reality TV thrives on shock value, but moments like this blur the line between entertainment and personal crisis. Cast members try to intervene, but the tension is too high, too emotionally charged. Every comment Jasmine makes seems calculated yet defensive. Each reaction from Gino a mix of pain and disbelief. The room becomes a pressure cooker. Every glance, whisper, and gesture magnified under the cameras. This is what makes reality television compelling. The collision of private truths with public spectacle. Social media is already buzzing, speculation skyrocketing, and fans are taking sides. How will the fallout play out once clips hit Instagram and TikTok? By the end of this explosive segment, no one leaves unchanged. Alliances are tested, reputations are on the line, and the energy in the house is electric. The revelation isn't just a story beat, it's a catalyst, and viewers are left hanging, desperate to see the next chapter of chaos, accountability, and the emotional fallout that only reality TV can deliver. What started as playful tension quickly explodes into chaos when Joy and Andre square off. A water bottle flies across the room, splashing everyone nearby, and suddenly the air is charged with adrenaline. Laughter, shouts, and sharp retorts bounce off the walls, but underneath the playful exterior, it's a high-stakes display of ego and unresolved grudges. Every gesture, every sarcastic jab, is loaded with personal history. They're not just arguing, they're asserting dominance, protecting reputations, and settling old scores in real time. Meanwhile, Elizabeth, Andre, Lauren, and Alex are locked in a more calculated battle. Elizabeth fumbles under scrutiny, her contradictions highlighted by the other three, who skillfully exploit every slip. Andre and Lauren tag team, pressing her on past statements, while Alex navigates the tension with surgical precision, interjecting just enough to influence the conversation without fully committing. It's a strategic dance of words, a tug-of-war between credibility, influence, and emotional control. Alliances shift subtly across the room. Moments of quiet, side glances, and smirks betray unspoken judgments, while whispered comments feed undercurrents of resentment. Every interaction becomes a micro-battle in a broader war for attention and authority. The cast's psychology is on full display. Joy and Andre show reactive aggression, Elizabeth demonstrates defensive posturing, and Alex and Lauren operate with deliberate calculation. Watching them, you see how ego, pride, and the need for narrative control drive behavior when the spotlight is on. The room oscillates between chaos and strategy. On one side, Joy and Andre's energy keeps everyone on edge, laughing 1 second, exasperated the next. On the other, Elizabeth, Andre, Lauren, and Alex navigate a high-stakes chess match. Each word and gesture shaping alliances and testing boundaries. It's the perfect storm. Spontaneous, raw emotion colliding with deliberate psychological maneuvering. As the tension spreads, viewers can't help but wonder, who will crack first? And how will these secondary conflicts fuel the larger drama with Jasmine and Gino? By the end of this segment, the stakes have climbed. Joy and Andre's feud is far from over. Every sarcastic comment a spark waiting to ignite. Elizabeth's credibility is teetering, alliances are forming and fraying in real time, and Alex and Lauren's interventions hint at calculated moves we haven't fully seen play out. The energy in the house is electric, every glance, gesture, and whispered comment adding fuel to an already volatile environment. The audience is left holding their breath, anticipating how these secondary battles will explode into the main story, keeping the chaos alive and the emotional tension nearly unbearable. The tension spikes when Natalie steps forward, determined to hold Jasmine accountable. She doesn't yell, she doesn't throw things. Her approach is direct, unflinching, and emotionally charged. Every word carries weight, and every glance challenges Jasmine's composure. It's not a casual confrontation, it's a test of boundaries, trust, and control. Jasmine stands her ground, defiant but visibly measuring her response, weighing each retort like a calculated move in a high-stakes game. Production staff hover nearby, ready to intervene, but their presence doesn't dampen the electricity in the room. The cameras capture every subtle flicker of emotion, the tightening of a jaw, the narrowing of eyes, the half smile that hints at both irritation and strategy. Both women are under intense pressure. Natalie to assert truth, Jasmine to maintain image and control. The room feels like a psychological arena where restraint is as much a weapon as aggression. The audience gets a front row seat to this dynamic. Natalie channels righteous persistence, holding Jasmine accountable without descending into theatrics. Jasmine, on the other hand, deflects and recalibrates, her behavior a mix of defense, distraction, and strategic silence. Watching them, you notice how two different coping strategies clash, one rooted in principle, the other in self-preservation and optics. It's human behavior magnified under the reality TV microscope. Will Jasmine break and respond openly? Or will she continue deflecting, leaving Natalie and everyone watching dangling in suspense? As the exchange unfolds, subtle shifts ripple across the cast. Others lean in, whisper to each other, or exchange knowing glances, silently weighing the impact of the confrontation. Alliances subtly form, loyalties are tested, and the underlying social dynamics of the house come into focus. The verbal sparring isn't just about the alleged push, it's about credibility, authority, and who controls the narrative in a room, charged with emotion. By the end of this segment, the tension remains unresolved. Natalie's persistence has forced the issue into the spotlight, and Jasmine's response is still ambiguous. Every subtle gesture, every measured pause, and every carefully chosen word hints at possible escalation. Viewers are left on edge, wondering who will blink first, who will shift strategy, and whether accountability will finally meet deflection head-on. The stage is set for even higher stakes in the next episode, and the emotional fallout promises to linger far beyond this single confrontation. The room may have been chaotic on screen, but the storm off-screen hits even harder for Jasmine. Reports surface that she's facing a court-ordered deportation, with a ticking clock of just 15 days to leave the country. The reality of the legal system slams into her celebrity persona, creating a tension that no camera angle can fully capture. Her public image as the feisty, confident reality star now collides with an intensely personal, high-stakes crisis. Jasmine's reactions, as seen in social media posts and verified insider reports, show a mix of fear, urgency, and calculated composure. She alternates between pleading for support and strategizing her next legal move. It's a delicate balance. One wrong statement, one misstep, and the consequences could be immediate. Sources confirm her legal team is working around the clock, exploring emergency appeals, negotiating extensions, and assessing every possible angle. Every day counts, and the pressure is enormous. Fans immediately react online. Some flood her comments with encouragement, pledging emotional and even legal support. Others scrutinize, question, and debate the legitimacy of her predicament, creating a digital echo chamber that amplifies both stress and attention. Each notification, each viral post, adds weight. Jasmine is no longer just a character on television. She is the center of a real-life crisis unfolding in public view. Could one misstep online push her from managing the situation to a headline-grabbing disaster? The emotional strain shows in every brief update, every carefully worded post, and every whispered conversation with insiders. Behind the glamour and drama of reality TV, this is raw human vulnerability. Sleep is restless, anxiety is high, and the countdown is merciless. Even for someone accustomed to conflict, the combination of legal pressure, public scrutiny, and personal stakes is overwhelming. Jasmine's story here transcends entertainment. It's a human test of resilience under impossible pressure. Verified sources note that attempts to reach out to former allies, including Gino, have been met with tension or refusal, intensifying the sense of isolation. Her celebrity network doesn't automatically translate into personal support, and that dissonance adds another layer to the emotional story. Every decision now carries a double weight, one for legal compliance, one for public perception. Insiders suggest that the next moves are critical. Will Jasmine comply immediately, leave the country quietly, or take the risk of appealing and challenging the order? The stakes couldn't be higher. Non-compliance could mean instant arrest and long-term legal repercussions, while premature compliance might feel like conceding defeat in front of millions of watchers. As the countdown continues, The audience is left suspended between curiosity, empathy, and shock. The drama on screen now mirrors the intensity off screen, where the consequences are real and irreversible. Every social media update, every insider report, and every legal maneuver becomes part of a tense narrative that blends celebrity spectacle with raw human fear. The story pauses here, but the clock is still ticking, leaving one question hanging over everyone watching. Will Jasmine comply, fight, or face immediate consequences that could change everything? The answer promises to redefine both her public persona and private life in ways nobody could have anticipated. Tensions are no longer isolated. Every argument, every secret, every slight glance now collides, creating a pressure cooker inside the house. Elizabeth and Yara's earlier explosion lingers in the air, like smoke that won't clear. Andre and Joy's water bottle chaos has left cracks in alliances. Alex and Lauren's subtle digs ripple through the room, sparking whispered debates and side-eye contests. Nothing is simple anymore. Everything is connected, and everyone is on edge. The cast members move carefully, yet unpredictably. Small gestures, rolling eyes, crossed arms, a sigh at the wrong moment trigger chain reactions. Old grudges bubble up, strategic alliances clash, and the emotional temperature spikes with each interaction. It's almost like walking through a minefield where any step can ignite a fight. Even neutral cast members can't escape the tension. Just being present feels risky. Meanwhile, Jasmine's looming deportation haunts the group. Her personal chaos casts a shadow over every conversation, turning small disagreements into dramatic confrontations. Cast members react not just to each other, but to the implications of real-life consequences spilling into their reality TV world. Social media speculation fuels paranoia, with everyone aware that a single misstep could explode online before it even happens in the room. Who will crack first under this mounting pressure, and who will use it to their advantage? The unpredictability makes alliances fragile. One moment, Alex seems aligned with Lauren. The next, a casual comment flips the dynamic entirely. Andre's attempts to assert control are met with subtle resistance from Elizabeth, who is carefully navigating her own grievances. Joy's energy pulses unpredictably, forcing others to constantly adjust. Every interaction feels charged, every silence heavy, and every glance loaded with unspoken tension. Even as cameras roll, the cast seems caught between survival and strategy. Each confrontation carries double stakes, not just the personal fallout, but the social and public perception. Every word and reaction is scrutinized, analyzed, and ready to be weaponized by both the group and an audience eager for drama. The stage is set for a chain reaction where minor sparks could erupt into full-blown conflict. The house is a pressure chamber. The players are volatile, and nothing feels predictable. And just when you think the storm might ease, whispers hint at secrets yet untold, alliances yet to fracture, and conflicts ready to explode in ways nobody sees coming. Amid all the chaos, moments of raw vulnerability surface, catching everyone off guard. Jasmine, usually fiery and unapologetic, is seen grappling with exhaustion, fear, and the crushing weight of scrutiny. Her eyes betray the strain of constant conflict, the looming threat of deportation, and the public airing of private struggles. Even for someone who thrives on attention, this is different. It's personal, it's real, and it stings in ways cameras can't fully capture. Other cast members show cracks too. Elizabeth's bravado slips in fleeting expressions of doubt. Andre's intensity masks frustration that sometimes borders on despair. Joy and Alex exchange glances that hint at both empathy and incredulity at how quickly tensions have escalated. The house, filled with conflict just minutes ago, now holds pockets of quiet reflection, a pause where the emotional fallout sinks in. How much of this public drama is reality, and how much is the weight of being watched? The contrast is stark. Outside, viewers dissect every glance, every comment, every argument, turning personal pain into a spectacle. Inside, the cast feels trapped, juggling relationships, reputations, and real-life consequences all at once. Shame and humiliation aren't just emotional, they're strategic. Every misstep could fuel social media backlash, influence fan opinion, or even impact legal matters. It's a reminder that reality TV can magnify vulnerability into performance, even when no one wants to perform. Watching Jasmine struggle, it's clear that trust, pride, and control are at the heart of this storm. She faces not only her own mistakes, but the unpredictable reactions of those around her. The public sees the drama, but the personal cost, the sleepless nights, the self-doubt, the emotional weight is invisible. Her journey in this episode exposes how fame, conflict, and personal crisis intersect, showing the human toll behind the on-screen spectacle. Meanwhile, subtle interactions ripple through the house. A glance between Andre and Lauren, a whispered comment from Elizabeth, a small gesture from Joy, all reveal that the emotional consequences aren't isolated. Relationships are fraying under pressure, alliances are tested, and even the strongest personalities show vulnerability in fleeting, telling moments. The episode leaves a lingering question. Once the cameras stop rolling, what remains? Will fractured trust and public humiliation heal? Or do these conflicts mark the start of irreparable changes? Even as Part 8 closes, the emotional tension is far from resolved. The cast faces not just each other, but themselves, their choices, and the consequences of living life under an unrelenting lens.